Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 7 and we will present about the difference in family life between America and Indonesia. Here's the member of the group. The foreigner notice will be presented by Elvidiana. Parenting will be presented by Nurlaila and Halizah. The changing family will be presented by Musa. And the last one, the family roles, will be presented by Lia Oktania.
Okay, good morning everyone. Let me introduce myself. My name is Sylvidiana. My ID number is 193200035. I want to explain you about the family life, especially what foreigner notice about American culture and Indonesian culture. Firstly, many international visitors have opportunities to visit American families and to observe their surroundings and interaction firsthand. Even those who are not invited into people's home, however, will notice certain things about American family life, particularly aspects involving the treatment of children. And for the second example is, while children in public are more often accompanied by the mother than the fathers, it is increasingly common to see a man caring for the children in a public place. So, it shows that they are more closer with the mother than their father. If we compare the American culture about family life, especially in carrying the baby, of course, there are many differences between Indonesian culture and American culture. Firstly, about carrying the baby. In Indonesian culture, many parents still often carry out the baby in their bodies, then they put in the stroller. Also, for the baby who is still under of 5 years old or maybe still baby, they will not have individual room or sleep alone, and almost baby will sleep together with the parent. This is one of the differences and comparison about American and Indonesian culture. Another comparison that we can compare between American culture and Indonesian culture is children are expected to be respectful toward their elders. Also, Indonesian culture stresses that people are socially responsible for their families and that children must look after their elders. For example, they may have to work away from home to provide financial assistance or give up their leisure time to raise siblings. One on hand, this pressure can be restrictive for young Indonesian as much time is consumed with family duties. However, their loyalty is rewarded with a sense of security and reciprocal assistance when needed.
Hello, my name is Nurlela Tusharifah. Now I will explain about American parental hopes and expectations. Most American parents are to prepare their children to be independent, self-reliant individuals who will be able to manage their own life by the time they reach age 18. Infants and young children are asked to make choice and to express their opinion, and they are encouraged to do things for themselves as soon as they can. Parents will praise and encourage their children like, "There you see, you can do it all by yourself." And next, to give their children the best possible chance to have a good life, they will, if they possibly can, invest considerable time and money in the child improvement and instruction, which may include such things as dental care, medical care for any perceived defect, preschool, where in some cases very young children are encouraged to learn to read. And next, American child-centeredness. Number one is they arrange play dates so their children can get together with others of the same age. Children parents play a role in arranging play schedule with children their age. For example, making a schedule to make together on Sunday for 2 hours, then the child will play with his friend according to the specific schedule. This is because Americans are independent and busy. Number two is young Americans, especially during the teenage year, are often under intense peer pressure to dress and act like their friend to engage in whatever activity their friends undertake. This might involve computer games, social networking, sport, politician action, or some form of voluntary service to the community. It might also involve getting tattoos or body piercing, smoking cigarette, chewing tobacco, drinking beer, experiment with illegal drugs, fighting with members of rival gangs, or hanging out at the local mall. Now, we move to Indonesian parental hopes and expectation. According to psychologist Heidi Keller from the University of Osnabrück, parenting in Indonesian is known as proximal parenting. In Indonesian, there is such a thing as family planning program. This program recommends for each family to have 1 until 2 children, but in Indonesia, many have not done that and prefer to believe in the traditional of their ancestor, which dare to believe that many children much fortune. On the other hand, in Indonesia, it feels very taboo if someone chooses not to have children, and that is difficult for society to accept. Next, in Indonesian, the role of parents for the future of their children is also trying to invest part of their salary for future saving. For most Indonesians, they will probably invest more in property. But the difference is that investment for children is usually only used to pay for children's school fees. Only a small part is used for medical checkup obligations such as dental care. It can be proven that dental care in early childhood is often neglected by parents. Now, we move to Indonesian child-centeredness. Most of them treat their children like small children who must always obey without hearing the opinion of the child. Children raised in this way are not good at conveying emotion, so they often express them in the wrong way. They also tend to be less confident, passive, and less able to make decisions because every decision they make depends on their parents. In that peer pressure is always present, but in Indonesian it is also not as free as in America. In Indonesian, children who have tattoos and drink beer are considered bad children and receive less attention from their parents. Moreover, children who trying to experiment with illegal drugs because in Indonesian it is illegal. This thinking is based on the culture difference between Indonesian and America. Indonesians tend to be strict parents in this regard.
Punishing children. In America, parents provide more positive reinforcements, which mean providing positive reinforcement or positive guidance rather than punishing them for doing something wrong. Parents tend to listen patiently to their children and acknowledge how they feel while telling or advising their children for wrong behavior. Many experts consider corporal punishment to be destructive because it can teach children to hurt others who don't ask the why they want them to. Parents who physically harm their children, even for disciplinary purpose, can be arrested for children's abuse. Americans generally don't like it when their child behavior becomes interfering with others. The behavior of a child is considered a parent's business only. There are exceptions if a child abuses another child, then others will try to intervene, but those who deserve punishment are parents. Our school, even official institutions. We can take an example when dealing with a child who has just been marked on the wall. A parent might tell the child, "Here's some paper to write on." Walls are not for writing. Instead of using physical punishment such as spanking a child or slapping a child's hands, parents are encouraged to use time out as a means of discipline. Next, preparing children for adulthood. Some teenagers in America already have jobs. Teenagers earn their own money for entertainment, clothing, or cars by working in fast food restaurants. Some are expected to save at least a portion of their income for tuitions. From parent perspective, having a job allows their children to get valuable training in acting independently, managing their time and money, and accepting responsibility for their own decisions. In traditional family, the child is ready to move out of the parents' homes when he is 18 years old or after finishing high school. They may go on the college or may find work. They may live with their parents for another year or two after graduating from high school. But after that, they are expected to be alone. However, according to the Times of London, young adults can last until the age of 30 years or more. Prior to that age, young people may not have had the education, training, or opportunity to find a job that pays enough to enable independent living. This young adult can continue to live with their parents. They might live apart from their parents, even with a partner, while the parent helps them pay their bills. In Indonesia, punishing children. Indonesia, in authoritarian parenting patterns, the punishment given by parents is carried out by heart. Children are also regulated by various kinds of rules that limit their treatment. This kind of treatment is very strict and even still applies until the child reaches adulthood. Whereas permissive parenting is leading children according to their wishes. Parents do not give punishment and control. This parenting pattern is characterized by freedoms without limits on children to behave in accordance with their own wishes. Parents never give rules and direction to children so that children will behave according to their own wishes, even though sometimes against social norms. Next, preparing children for adulthood in Indonesia. Parents act as encouragements. Facing the transition to adulthood, teenagers certainly need encouragement from their parents, especially when expressing a failure that can reduce their stress. At the time, parents need to instill the strength and confidence of teenagers in facing problems and not easily give up from obstacles. Number two is parents as role models. Teenagers need role model in the family. Parents need to set an example and role model. But both in carrying out religious rules and norms that are generally accepted in society. The role of a good parent will affect the character of teenager himself. Number 3 is parent as a supervisor. Parents must always see and supervise the attitude and behavior of teenagers. This is instead to us not to fall into promiscuity that leads to juvenile delinquency and stupid action that harm yourself. Next, number 4 is parents as instilling confidence. Parents need to tell teenagers that they have certain abilities or uniqueness. This is where parents function as informants, as responders, or as mirror that can tell teens, this is what you should have had, and this is where you are now. Teenagers need to know what abilities, habits, uniqueness, and specialities they have. Number 5 is parents play a role in giving self-concept. For teenagers to have a clear self-concept, more input is needed, especially from the parents themselves or from the family. For example, when teenagers were carried by their parents when they were children, their parents said that their smile was good or that their laughs was funny. No, this is input. The child does yet know what his parents said, but he can feel that what his parents say is something good and fun. Because even though the child cannot understand words, he can already feel the expression of feelings, so that good feelings that are transmitted to the child will make the child also feel calm. So the child must start to get a feeling that his parents accept him. And the last is parent as religious guide. As foremost educator, parents have a very important role in fostering youth religions. Good religious, values-based or religious teaching must be given, instilled, and developed by parents to teenagers in everyday life. The cultivation of religion is important because the essence of one godness will be manifested in good religions. Good religion that needs to be instilled by parents, such as obedience to worship, good behavior, respect for parents, has a sincere nature, and will slowly be internalized in every teenager so that it ultimately has a positive impact on their mental and spiritual life, so that it can provide positive stretch for adolescents in undergo the process of life and be able to respond to the negative impact caused by the era of globalization.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Musa'adatul Rafiqah. My ID number is 1932036. I will explain the next material is the changing family life. Okay, let's get started. Comparison of family changes in America and Indonesia. The proverb says, the most valuable treasure is family. What is family? A family is a group of two or more people who are related by blood, marriage, adoption, or a mutual commitment, and who care for one another. Changing family life in America. During the 1950s, the traditional American family included a husband, wife, and their two or more children. The man went to work every morning and on the weekends relaxed. The woman took care of the house and the children. The children went to school, played with their friends after school and on weekends. The family had dinner together every evening. On weekends, the family sometimes took a drive, visited grandparents, or shared some other activity. The children grew up, finished secondary school, perhaps went on to college. got married, had children of their own, and the cycle continued. American families have changed in many ways since the 1960s. First, families are becoming smaller and fewer children live in a two-parent household. In 1960, 73% of children lived with two parents in their first marriage, but in the following years, the divorce rate increased. In 2000, 4 out of every 1,000 marriages ended in divorce. The number dropped to 2.9 per 1,000 marriages in 2018, but it still counts for about 39% of marriage. That's why 25% of adults living with children in the America are unmarried. Second, there are more single-parent families, that is, households containing only one parent, usually a woman, and one or more children. Another changing family life in America is family dinners are a thing of the past. Family dinners were an almost nightly ritual in most homes during the 1960s and 70s, but a recent survey revealed that 40% of modern families only eat dinner together 3 times or less each week. The number of working mothers is increasing. In the late 1960s, almost 50% of women were stay-at-home mothers. Since then, family life has been greatly affected by the movement of mothers into the workforce. In 1975, the first year with available data on mothers in the workforce, less than half of mothers with children under 18 held a full-time or part-time job, and less than one-third of mothers with children under 3 work outside of the home. By the 2015, 70% of mothers with children under 18 and 64% of mothers with children under 3 held jobs. The desire to continue working into parenthood has been a major factor in smaller family size. In contrast to the changing family life in Indonesia, the survey of recent developments, which was published in the Bulletin of Indonesian Economic Studies or BIES. The survey drew several findings regarding the changing structure of families in Indonesia. Firstly, family change is the shifting age at which Indonesians were first married. The mean age for marriage for women in the 1990s was around 22. It climbed to 23.2 in 2006 and fell to 22.4 in 2011 until 2013. Secondly, the shift in marriage pairing partners. In the past, women tended to marry someone who was older and has better educational qualification and earning prospects. Utomo, 2012. That's all my explanation about comparison of the changing family in America and Indonesia. If you have different opinion or understanding on the materials, post it on via WhatsApp group. Thank you so much and sorry for my mistakes. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Let me to introduce myself. My name is Lia Okania and my ID number is 193200334. And now I'm heading to explain about the comparison between American and Indonesian's families rules. The first comparison is families rules in America. Families rules for fathers in America. Today's father is no longer always the traditional married breadwinner and disciplinarian in the family. He can be single or married, externally employed or stay at home. He can gay or straight and adoptive or step parents, and a more than capable caregiver to children facing physical or psychological challenge. Psychological research across families from all ethnic backgrounds suggests that the father's affection and increased family involvement help promote children's social and emotional development. So, for Americans, father may be different with Asians rules father. In America, father is not only about the leader of the family. The father has been responsible for the financial support of the home and the family's members. The second rules in America is family rules for mothers and women. New rules for women. Most Americans still live and work on independent farms, where the mother and children play a crucial role in earning the family's living. For farm women, the new domestic ideal had a little relationship to reality. In towns and cities, however, the Industrial Revolution was transforming the way business was conducted, which in turn changed the father's relationship to the family. As a result, women gained more authority over their children and a large role in running the household, while the father had once exercised control over the way children were raised. Once he was absent from the household for most of the day, women began making the important child-rearing decision, meting out punishment and controlling their offspring's daily lives. At the same time, however, the women became divorced from the outside world, in part because of the widespread belief that as the moral center of the family, she needs to be protected from its temptation and evils. So, in America, woman or mother is not only as a housekeeper. They have their own housekeeper and babysitter to care their children. They are not deemed to be a housewife who take care of the house, but they can also differ the task between being a wife, mother, and also hardworking. The second comparison is family rules in Indonesia. Family rules for fathers. Fathers as family leader have a role as breadwinner, educator, patron, safety giver for every member of the family, and also as a member of social group society. So, for Indonesians, father is only about leader, giver, safety, and or the person who create money. And some Indonesian fathers let not care about their psychological children. Maybe they think that it is not his business because he only work and create money. The second is family rule for mother or woman. Woman or mother as a housekeeper, caregiver, and children educator, family protector, as well as breadwinner for families as well as members of social group society. So for Indonesians, mother is uncommon to work and independent. They think mother or woman only know about cooking, cleaning and washing, or giving a parenting for their children.